welcome to Command Point. This is the who knows what number podcast, but I am Shane and I am here with my co host Ryan. Ryan, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm good. We're doing our first,
Our first like video podcast kind of deal
yeah,
going on, as you can
not,
probably tell
yeah,
if you're watching on YouTube right now.
yeah. If you're on Spotify, you're only getting half of the experience, really.
I think we can
I would
actually
say.
upload video podcasts to Spotify now because that was an option the last time I did it. So
That's so odd. What is the point of that?
there
Uh,
isn't one. I blame Joe Rogan. It's all Joe Rogan's fault.
Probably. Anyway, it's been a while since we've sat down and recorded a podcast, like an actual formal sit
Yeah,
down, talk about Kill Team,
not just like a rules review sort of thing.
yeah, or like a faction thing. And I mean, I feel like there's a decent amount going on right now in Kill
Yeah.
Team. There's a lot to talk about.
Hmm.
I mean, what's like the hotness right now? Everybody's talking about Harlequins. We're probably going to talk
Yeah.
about
Or
Harlequins
void
at some point.
dancers. Void
Yeah,
dancers.
Void
Don't get it
Dancers.
confused.
Well, Trooper just throw them in the garbage, right? Because like they're kind of like GW kind of decreed that like not to even use it because it's kind of replaced. That was the data slate thing.
Yeah, I
But
think I think they were
yeah,
officially like told no, you don't use these anymore in tournament play.
or at least like strongly suggested.
Yeah, because it was them, and then what were the other two factions? Notably, it was not Gene Stealer Cult.
Yeah, it was Thousand Suns
Yes.
and Forge World.
Yep.
Forge World. And that's because of Hunter Glade and Warp Coven, which makes sense.
Yeah.
That one makes a lot of sense to me.
Hmm. So I guess we can
Um,
just start talking about the Void Dancers. I almost said
yeah,
Void Scarred. Um,
yeah, that's another team.
Are they even worth talking about?
We'll talk about them
Yeah.
later. We'll get
Yeah,
there.
sure, 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 sure.
Yeah.
So a lot of people have been talking about the Void Dancers are, they're really good, and they are. They are.
For sure.
But a lot of people are going so far as to say that they are like S tier, they're the new Tau Pathfinder, the new like veteran guard team, like that same power level.
Yeah.
Um, and they're like out here like calling for nerfs. And frankly, I don't see it.
Yeah.
I don't think that the Void Dancers are on that same level. They are very good, but I think they're like high A tier if we're putting Vet Guard in S tier.
Yeah. I think they're about as good as like it's weird because I think they're better than Troop was, but I don't think I would put them anywhere different, like on a tier
Yeah,
list.
yeah,
Uh it's mostly it's like the skill ceiling has raised for the team,
yep.
which is great.
Hmm.
And I think the skill floor has risen a little bit too. Not too much. I still think they're like of the top teams, I think they're kind of the easiest to play. Not in the sense that they're easy to win with, but they are it's a low cognitive load. They still ignore so many rules. There's so much stuff you just don't have to worry about. Domino Field still kind of
Yeah.
operates the same way.
It
It's just a
it
little bit less broken.
it is like a lower cognitive load. Um, I guess just because you have a lower model count, but in my experience playing them, it's kind of like, man, I wish I had the 14 bodies that guard have, because I feel like you can like make mistakes with veteran guard, and it doesn't matter because you have 14 bodies. You can afford to like make mistakes and like still win the game just because the team is so good and you have so many bodies. Whereas with this team, they're low model count, relatively to the other teams. They're only 8 bodies apiece. Each one of them has 8 or 9 wounds. The only save they have is the 4-up invuln save, which is literally
Mhm.
a 50-50 shot. You know, they do
Yeah.
have Domino Field, which allows them to increase their survivability and stuff. The Sadath tragedy um, makes it bad for your opponent to shoot your models. Um, but because you only have 8 bodies and they're so vulnerable to a lot of things, you really need to play very cagey with the team, and you need to like pick and choose your battles. You can't just afford to just turn 2 charge everybody, depending on like the matchup, and then kill with like kill, and then all of a sudden all these operatives are stuck out in the open, and you're like, oh no, I got 6 points on my SADAth, but now 3 of my models have just gotten shot off the table by relatively mediocre shooting, and I've lost the game.
Yeah, I mean those models. It's if you can actually hit them, they go down really
Yeah,
easily.
like you'll anything.
Yeah,
Most teams
a
have
stiff
something that
freeze.
can, and that's something actually that this team doesn't have a lot of, is reliable like ranged weapons, and
Mhm.
I would say reliable melee weapons as well. Like on the lethality front, they are the lowest of the top teams right now, I would think.
Like in
Um,
terms of long range shooting.
definitely,
Um,
well, definitely in terms of long range shooting because they only have the one model that can do any long range shooting. With the Death Jester, of course, and the
mhm.
gun on the Death Jester, the Shrieker Cannon, I think it's called.
Yeah.
It doesn't have any AP. So, I mean, if you run into Deathwatch are a little bit hot now, you're just going to bounce off them with their Storm Shields and their 3-up invulnerable, or not their 3-up invulnerable save, but their 3-up armor saves. High
Yeah.
wound bodies they bounce off of, and you don't want to charge them because you're going to be trading wounds in combat. And
Mhm.
like if I run a Harlequin player into an assault intercessor, like the assault intercessor is probably going to win that combat just on wounds,
Mhm.
which is funny to think about because Space Marines are in such a bad place right now. Um, but
Yeah, it
yeah,
is funny that they
they have
actually.
they have weaknesses. They have
Oh, for
real
sure.
they have real like bad matchups.
It's funny because before against elite teams, it was so easy. You
Yeah,
just take 3 fusion pistols and you
yeah,
just kill them.
yeah. It was no
Um,
brainer.
Now they really don't have the tools to kill elite teams,
Hmm.
which is okay, I think. I think it's probably for the best.
Yeah.
Um,
Otherwise, they would
the
be as OP as everybody, as most people, or not even most people, as a few people are saying they are.
Yeah, the variability on the Shrieker Cannon is pretty crazy too, because it's a weapon where it can be really underwhelming if you're not critting. But if you're critting, it's
Yeah,
like it could kill anything.
I feel that way about a lot of the weapons that this team has, and just
That rending.
just a lot. Yeah, just a lot about this game in general, really. Um,
Mhm.
a lot of people say that like this game is kind of like if you roll crits, you win, and
Yeah.
that I think that has some merit, especially with this team. Like you have to be rolling crits.
Yeah. I want to pull up. Some people have already talked about this. It's kind of been discussed already, but there was a series of tournaments last weekend, not related to each other. Just they just all happened at the same time, and Harlequins are doing really well in
Hmm.
them. And it's I think a lot of it is unfamiliarity. Uh,
With the team because it's so new.
yeah, because like we said, I don't think they're a hard team to pick up and play.
Hmm.
They're not easy to. No team is really easy to like win a tournament with, but you can pick them up. Like you can actually just play Void Dancers and just forget about the Sadath, and you're still playing a pretty good team. Um, like it's you're just playing the old Harlequins with some slightly different rules. You've got a ranged weapon now, stuff like that.
Hmm.
And I think just people just aren't used to playing against that team, especially that team with a long range threat.
Yeah.
And then the Psyker, the Shadow Seer is offering
Yeah, that
a bit
model
more
is
tech.
so good.
Yeah, he's cool. These elf psychers in the new
Mhm.
releases are fun.
Mhm.
I like that a lot.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, I mean, we were seeing some real dominance from Void Dancers this past weekend. I think there was like tournaments where they were like placing first and second,
Yeah.
and like placing first, and all over the
Going on
place.
having undefeated runs and stuff. Yeah.
Hmm.
Gosh, I feel like the team has been out for a month, but for most players, if you aren't running it, you're not going to be that familiar with this team for
Hmm.
most players. And I think that good players right now are running the team, and that's why
Yeah,
they're seeing so much success. But If a good player is running, the Void Dancers and another good player is playing Veteran Guard, I'm going to give it to the Veteran Guard player 100% of the time.
Yeah, and the big thing that I think we're also that I kind of like glossed over is like void dancers play very similarly to troop. So a lot of the people that were playing troop before can just pick up void dancers
Yeah.
like really easily.
Mhm.
So it's not like you're learning a whole new team.
Yeah.
You're just playing the same team but with some extra tools.
Yeah.
And
Some of your
so a lot of
stratagems
yeah.
got like diced up into more stratagems, but this
Mhm.
team makes enough CP that it's not really an issue.
Yeah, and, some of their stratagems are better, like, I think that Segarak's Jest is
I think it's
objectively
good.
better
Mhm.
than the Prismatic Blur version of it before.
Yeah.
That's really hard to deal with. They've got some new stuff, like, what's the Between Colors? That one's really
Yep.
good. Yeah, I don't know. They're good, and they're not very different, it's not like, even from Thousand Suns to Warp Coven, that was a very different team.
Oh yeah, completely different.
Like, it replaces the team, it kind of, like makes them obsolete, but it plays really different. It's not
Mhm.
like that, where I feel like Void Dancers does play like an extension. It's almost like you have an expansion to this team.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like Harlequin's got DLC.
It's like to me it's like the Compendium team was there just to be a placeholder, and then the real Harlequin team showed up that was actually built and
Mhm.
designed like for Kill Team 2021.
Yeah. Yeah, I would agree with that. So, I guess we could segue a little bit and talk about, like, our post 1 month first month thoughts on the Nachman stuff, and I kinda do wanna have, like, a whole do a little retrospective and just talk about like the power levels of these boxes
Mhm.
that we've gotten so far, that being Octarius, Chenlath, and now Nachmund,
Mhm.
because it seems to me, and I don't know this for sure, but it seems like the factions in each box were play tested mostly against the other faction in the box rather than against like everything. Um, I mean, Octarius is almost the odd man out, but like, when you look at Nachmund, I feel like I've played Corsairs versus Legionnaires a few times now, and those teams play really evenly into each other. It's not like one
Mhm.
team doesn't seem to be much better than the other when they're playing against each other.
Mhm.
And you look at Chalnath, and one of the only teams for a while that could stand a chance against Pathfinders was Novitiates. And those teams are like head and shoulders above most of the teams.
Yeah.
Um, And Octarius, you've got Vetguard and Commandos who seem like they're at a different power level, but that one I can kind of understand because it took us a while to figure out Vetguard. So I can see how that might have like slipped through the cracks a little bit.
Mhm.
Um, but in reference to like power creep, because people throw that term around a lot,
Yeah.
power creep. I don't think we're seeing power creep
No, I
with the
think I
releases.
think we're seeing power regression with these releases.
Me too. I mean,
Well, Chalnath
relative,
arguably was,
yeah,
it was a huge
it,
spike, especially with the Pathfinders.
it's been
Um,
like up and down. I feel.
yeah, which is
Um,
good. I don't want like, every
yeah.
team that comes out to be new
Better
top
than the
dog
last?
broken like S tier. If you're trying to win a tournament, why are you playing anything else type situation? Because that's not good.
No. I mean, it's interesting to me because, like, I guess when you look at, like, before Nachman came out, the assumption, like, the prevailing assumption before we even saw the rules was, "Oh, man, this Corsair team is gonna be really good." Like,
Yeah.
okay, the Legionnaire, they might be good, but this Corsair, they're gonna be, like, the new thing.
Yes. Yeah.
And when you look at them now, like, now they've been out for a month, a lot of people think they're solid. But I don't think it's a controversial take to say that they're not nearly on the level of the Chalnath teams or even Vetguard at this point.
No. Yeah.
It's like you said, it is kind of promising that we're not just seeing that kind of like constant power creep as the
Mhm.
game progresses. Um, and it I don't know, it makes me wonder what the next box is gonna end up looking like.
Yeah.
because it's been like somewhat. We've had so far. We've had a box where like, and this is relative to the rest of the bespoke teams we have at this point with Octarius, and we didn't know this at the time because they were the first two. We had one team that seemed quite a bit better than the other,
Yeah.
but both really good. And then we had Chalnath where both teams were just insane. And then we have Nachmund where it seems like they're like kind of on the lower end. So maybe I don't even know. Like, what do we do for it now?
Yeah. I don't know.
Hopefully they'll just start to get it like more in line. But
Just more like stable in terms of power level. And I think
yeah.
they will too, because at this point the team has released a few different teams under their belt. You know, they
Hmm.
know how the game play, they know how people play the game, I guess.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I
I
and I
think
think
they have a
in
better hold on it this time around.
yeah, I think that the Nachman teams are like a really good benchmark for where I would want to see the power level of a lot of different factions coming in.
Hmm.
Not Chalnath. Chalnath just felt like it was
Just
like they just came out of like
egregious.
yeah, they just came out of like this crazy testing phase where like the teams just kept getting stronger or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Um, but personally, I see the Nachman teams more on the level of like Hunter Clade kind of, and like maybe Warp Coven, maybe a bit worse than Warp Coven, but in that ballpark. And I like that. I think that's where the teams should strive to be,
Yeah.
uh, personally.
They should be different. They should like their own like different play styles. You know, I feel like every faction when it comes to like their faction specific secondaries, there should be one like obvious auto take, I think.
Hmm.
Um, you know, and their whole base style is or their whole play style is just kind of like focused on like that sort of gimmick.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, like have like good different teams that are not too powerful but can compete, you know, well with each other. You know, just I'm just asking for balanced teams. Really is the short of it, but I don't know. I don't know
Uh,
what will be out in the next box. I don't want to see any more of the Sector Mechanicus terrain though. I don't
yeah,
know
me
what kind
neither.
of terrain they would release for the next one. It would probably be like Death World Forest or
I was
something
gonna say it's gonna be a forest.
because they did like the cityscape thing. They did the obviously the orc terrain with the Octarius box, and then they did Sector Mechanicus. So unless it's something
Which
crazy,
so this is a good time because I want to talk about this because we're running out of factions to get bespoke teams for. So, what do you think is gonna be in the box?
I want a. So this is my ultimate wish list for Kill Team. I
Hmm.
want there to be a rogue trader kill team, and I want there to be a an Inquisition, like some kind of like Inquisitor like warband kill team.
Okay.
Those are the two kill teams on my wish list. Um, there was the Rogue Trader box in the last edition, and there was like a rumored Inquisition expansion that never came out because Commander did so poorly or something.
Yeah.
Um, at least initially. Um, those were never confirmed, of course, just rumors. But what's the other
Yeah.
thing that I want? Oh, I want Kroot mercenaries. I want kill team
Does it?
specific Kroot mercenary models,
So,
each with a unique sculpt and its own special like rule or gimmick, just like you see with like Vetguard and Pathfinders and all that sort of stuff.
so that all
Those are my
sounds
three.
awesome. I would
Yeah.
I would love that. The odds of that being the box though are so low. I wish, and I'm gonna cross my fingers for that because before
The
Nachman came
Kroot
out, I was
incredibly low.
yeah, before Nachman came out, I was like, oh man, what if the bespoke team, what if the chaos team was Gellerpox? And I got myself all excited. Uh, obviously, it didn't happen,
Yeah.
but like so, like what haven't we got though out of the core faction? So there's not a Tyranid one.
There's no Space
Wh-
Marine one.
There's no Space Marine. I mean,
Um
as of the safe betting, you have to imagine there's probably going to end
there
up being Space Marines.
there has to be a Space Marine team. If they don't, they're
Um,
just it's that's just Game Workshop missing out on money.
Yeah,
I'll buy it.
Necron,
Oh yeah,
Necrons,
Necrons.
um, Demons, Kroot,
Demons would be
Death Guard,
tough. Crew would be tough for the same reason.
Death
Death Guard you can do.
Grey Knights.
Yeah, there isn't a Grey Knight specific team yet.
Am I missing a team?
Grey
Does
Knights will probably get like a White Dwarf team, and I feel like they would include the Grey Knight Terminator in it. Like you'd be able to take like one or two of those probably.
that would be
I don't
neat.
know why. I just think that would be cool.
Yeah, maybe like a chaplain or something. I don't know. But like, here's what I think. I think like I'm just gonna assume Space Marines are in it just because
That's a pretty
like
safe bet.
come on, we're eventually there has to be,
Yeah,
they'll get the special treatment. But like what we were just saying about how the terrain, it would make sense if it was Death World Forest, right?
yeah.
So what would fit in that? Tyranids, right?
I mean, a lot could fit in it. In the last edition, they had that box where, or they had like the two boxes where it was like there's the Death Watch, and they have a bunch of the Death World terrain, and then if you got the Drakari box opposite it, it had a bunch more terrain in that. So that could be a matchup. There could be a bespoke or artisanal, whatever the hell people are calling these teams these days.
Yeah,
Um, in a box, that would be a cool throwback matchup.
that's
Probably
true.
not Death Watch though. Death Watch, I probably wouldn't expect to see that
I feel like it's gonna be
because
like
they're
scouts or something. Like we're gonna get like a scout team.
oh like oh like Primaris scouts or something.
Yeah, why
Because the
not?
Black Templars they already have the novitiates,
There you
so
go.
that are they called novitiates? I don't know. Whatever the
Well,
squire
we've already
looking
got
dudes are.
novitiates in kill
Yeah,
team.
there's
We've already
already
got-
Primaris scouts in 40k. Might as well make a kill team out of them.
yeah,
Yeah.
that'd be pretty cool. But they
Yep.
probably, I don't know, maybe it'll be an elite team. I don't know. But I don't know. I could just see Tyranids. I feel like because Necrons are like they had Indominus this year. They had Pariah Nexus last year. I feel
Mhm.
like there's been a lot of Necron boxes,
Yeah.
especially against Space Marines. And if this is just assuming, maybe it's like Grey Knights versus Necrons or something random that makes no sense. But like assuming it's Space Marines on one side, I would say probably not Necrons. That'd probably be like a White Dwarf thing.
Yeah.
Um,
Necrons will get a white dwarf team.
maybe Death Guard.
Yeah. I could
I don't
see
know.
that because, there was the whole Plague War with the Ultramarines and the Death Guard. That was a thing
Mhm.
that happened in the lore, I guess. So I could see that.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I don't know.
I guess technically Drakari doesn't have a team because Comrites is like for that's like the craft world
Yeah,
team,
they,
even though there's like Cabalites in there. So I don't know.
yeah, I don't know. I think if that happens, it'd be later just because we had back-to-back um, Eldari teams with the Void Scar and the Void Dancers coming out within like a month of each other.
Yeah.
Um, so probably won't see a Drakari list. Definitely a White Dwarf team, I think. I don't know if we'd
Yeah.
see any unique sculpts.
Give them some racks. Maybe like an Incubi or Mandrake or something. I don't know.
Just take the meta list that everybody was running in last edition and just make that into the White Dwarf team.
There you go.
Yeah,
It's just 10 Cabalites and an Incubi or in a Clayvex.
two grotesques,
Oh yeah.
three grotesques. Wasn't that a
Can you
thing that
please?
we could do? You used to be able
You
to
could
run
go.
like three,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
You could go several grotesques.
Please
Um,
don't do that. That'd be stupid.
the good old
Ooh,
days.
yo, actually, a plastic grotesque would be very, very cool of Games Workshop because they just
That would
have
be
like the Citadel Finecast right now, I think, still.
Yeah, I would like that.
Hmm.
It's weird because like even though that those models are pretty old, I think they still look cool.
Yeah, the sculpts are awesome. Just make them
Yeah,
in plastic, please.
please. Agreed. Um, yeah though. So I mean, the next box, who knows? Who knows what the next White Dwarf is going to be? Like, I want demons. but that's never going to be. I
Mhm.
don't think that's
Well,
going to
there's
be a block.
definitely going to be a squat team, or excuse me, that was insensitive of me. The League of
Yes,
Vala, whatever they're called.
overpowered or something.
Yeah,
Oh my god, we haven't even had an episode or a show since squats got like
yeah,
brought back.
yeah.
I'm
Brought
so
back
excited for that.
Shane. They never left. Come on.
That's
They were just
I think
waiting in
they
the
did leave.
shadows. They were waiting in the shadows for the time, for when the time was right.
I'm so thrilled for that. I
Yeah.
can't wait to just see scout or squats on a
I can't
table.
wait to
I'm
see
not
scouts either.
not scouts. Oh god. Um, and people are gonna keep calling them squats, right? Like no one's gonna really call them whatever it is, the leagues of
I'm gonna
something.
if I'm playing a game of 40K and another guy or whoever my opponent is playing the league of whatever, I'm gonna call him squats, and he'll probably call him
Mm,
squats. I just think it's funny.
yeah. And actually, I mean, if you want to subscribe to the theory of like, okay, so Eldar or the Corsairs came out around the time of the Eldari Codex, and I mean, Octarius wasn't that long after the Orc Codex, I don't think. It was around the same time.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
the well,
I
Chalneth doesn't really actually no, Chalneth was around the Tau
Yep,
Codex.
yep.
So the factions in
They line
40K
up.
and in ninth that do
Yeah.
not have codexes yet, that do not have bespoke teams and kill team. It's not a big list. It's Tyranids, it's demons, and then it's like squats because squats are an army that's
Yeah.
coming to 40K. So those are the only three. So if they wanted to pull one of those, then you know there you go. And I don't think it's going to be demons. And I
No,
mean,
I
if it's
don't I
squats,
don't think
well,
demons get a box.
me neither.
I think the crude have a better chance of getting a bespoke box.
I own so many demons that I don't want them to get a box. I want to be able to use the demons that I have. No, I don't want more.
I think
But
you're in
yeah,
the minority there.
I just just let me use my demon. Just let me give me a usable team. Um, but yeah, maybe it'll be squats. Who knows? That would be awesome. I want to have an elite team chat with you because I was
Oh
going to circle
boy.
back to legionaries earlier, but we kind of got sidetracked talking
Oh
about
yeah, I wanted to talk
predictions.
about the Legionaries too.
So, legionaries are like the first elite bespoke team. We have a whole review of them out on the channel,
Hmm.
so go listen to that if you haven't yet. But I feel like have you gotten the chance to play against him?
No,
Okay, I've
no.
played against him a few times, and there's like this endless debate about the
Yeah,
marks
yeah.
and how to run them because you can only have two marks on your roster, not counting undivided, and you can't mix Slanesh and Corn, and you can't mix Nurgle and Zinch. So that means you go, Corn Nurgle, Corn Zinch, Slanesh Nurgle, Slanesh Zinch, and that's all your combos.
Hmm.
Um, and I totally like this. This does not surprise me at all. But there's been nonstop debate specifically between Zinch and Nurgle,
Yeah.
which one is the
Would
good
you
one.
call it chaotic? These debates?
Yeah, sure. I
Yeah.
mean, you know, yeah, I would. But like, it's it's weird to
It's
me.
just endless, and it seems like there's like no like real correct answer. I'm sure
Yes,
there is, and I'm sure that Matt Hurl has the correct answer as to how to run
I don't even think
the
he's
new
playing.
Legionaries. Yeah, you might. I don't even. Yeah, I was
He's
talking to
playing
him about.
Harlequin.
Yeah, I was talking to him about the Void Dancers. Um, but yeah, no. The thing is, it all comes down to the marks with this team. And the fact that you can't truly optimize the team. They have all of these cool tools and stuff. You know, you can put different marks on different legionnaires, and they play differently because of that. But you can never really optimize the team with those marks. Um, almost to the point where it's just like your team will be okay, but you know you're always going to be like this could be better in this situation if I ran these marks instead. Um, so you know I think they're really hamstrung by the mark ability, and also I don't get the mark ability from a lore perspective.
Yeah, they
because
team up all the time.
they're all painted up as Black Legion, and for those of you who don't know, Black Legion is oh wait, no. I'm forgetting. There's literally the Chaos Undivided Legion trait, right?
Mhm.
Or that's like a mark thing that like kind of takes
Yeah.
over that. So, but who runs that? I don't think anybody has been running the Undivided.
Yeah, you can run it. Like, you'll see it on, like, one guy, so that way they can get the free ploy for, like, the shoot twice or fight twice or something.
Yeah. So, hey,
I
maybe
mean,
that
but it's
maybe
like
that's the answer.
yeah, maybe. But
I
it's
don't
like,
know.
I mean, they've even, like, the Corn and Slanesh, the Tzeentch, they've worked together before. Like, I know they don't like each other, but, like
Literally, the Black Legion are made
yeah.
up of Chaos Space Marines from all different chapters who all like they either they don't even like worship the Chaos gods and they're just in the warp, or they're like, yeah, Nurgle is my dude, or Slanesh,
Mhm.
or Korn, and they all work together. So I think that the not allowing them to mix unless you take these two versus these two, I don't really I think it's holding the team back.
Yeah. I think it does feel needlessly restrictive
Yeah,
for me.
yeah.
Yeah, it's
And
like
also I thought Korn would hate Zeech more than Slanesh. Because Korn hates like magic. So
maybe. I do know that the sorcerer can't be Corn, so
yeah, of
you're onto
course, yeah.
something there.
So I'm like, what? At least be consistent. I don't
Yeah.
know.
I don't know.
If somebody knows why that is, why Korn hates Slanesh more than Zeech, let me know in the comments below.
Yeah. And honestly, so the other thing that happened around the time of the Nachman release was the data slate. And I think, like, secretly, the best elite team right now is not Legionnaire or Custodes or any of that.
You think it's Death Watch?
No, I don't think it's Deathwatch
What?
either. Although Marines are a lot better than they were.
Is it
I think that
Scouts?
no, well, that's not even elite. That's 10 miles.
Oh yeah.
Um, I think it's six Plague Marines.
I don't think you're wrong.
I think it's really good.
They have a great
Like,
matchup against the Void Dancers.
yeah, as like they do. Yeah, it's good luck killing them. It's as an elite team, they are just like it's so much wounds to chew through.
Mm-hmm.
Like with the
Mm-hmm.
feel no pain and the icon, having extra guy really helps with like the bell. You can put the bell on an extra guy, and now you can actually get that big aura. They're not. I don't think they're easy to play by any means. Like they're a team that deals with a lot of weird auras. Like you're going to have the 6-inch aura on your bell that you need to activate. You're going to have a 3-inch aura on your icon. You're going to have 2-inch auras on everybody once you pop contagion. Um, it's just like a lot to balance.
Yeah.
But with 6 models, I think that team benefits the most from, like, the 6th model, like, of all the elite teams, and they got buffed from the data slate. And, I think they're just a major pain in the butt. I think they could be a problem for a lot of teams. Like, if you're not a team that's already, stopping everything, like, if you're not like a Vet Guard or like a Pathfinder or a Novitiate, I mean, maybe even Novitiates could struggle against it, but, like, I think a lot of teams don't have a great answer to 6 Plague Marines.
Yeah. AP is king in this game, and if you're not running a team competitively that has at least three, I
Mhm,
hesitate to say even three, probably like five sources, like five APX weapons,
mhm.
you're definitely going to struggle against those guys, and most other teams.
Like, you can like, let's say you're playing on domination or something, you'll deploy your sorcerer or not your sorcerer, your icon bearer so that he's, a 6-inch move away from being on the middle objective and, like, set up a barricade so that way he'd be in cover. And, like, you pop the bell, you have that icon guy walk onto the objective. He doesn't even need to tap it. Maybe you have central control, but you can walk onto the objective into cover on the barricade, pop his icon so that way he's rerolling ones and twos on his Feel No Pains, and then you can spend a CP for dig in. So he's got 4 defense dice. He's in cover. He's got a 5 up feel no pain. He's rerolling ones and twos on it. Like what in the entire game can kill that? And it's got 4 APL. So good luck getting onto that objective and taking it from him.
Yeah.
Like you can't kill him. He's right, and then next turn because like you get to the next turn, you've probably not been able to kill any of them, like realistically, especially if they're they're playing a little bit safer. And then turn two, they're in your face, so the movement bonus doesn't really make that big of a difference. Like they still have the bell if they have the chance to use it. Um, they pop contagion, they get in melee with you, and it's like they just tarp it. Like I don't know, they just bog you down forever. They don't even need to kill you. Like they'll just cause problems. And it's not like they don't have any offensive weapons either. Like their champ is a beast.
Yep.
That fighter is a beast. Give him a crack grenade. Now he can actually kill something in shooting. Um, they've got a gunner. If you want to abandon the fighter, you could take 2 gunners. Um, the bolt guns are pretty good if you give them the virulent rounds to hit to do 5 damage on crits. It's just like there's like a lot of moving pieces on this team. They're almost like a bespoke team
Yeah.
where you're going to run a team of 6, and each one of the 6 models is going to be different in some way
Hmm.
to the other one. Um, and they don't get injured because of disgustingly resilient. So it's like once you get them down below a certain point, they all have like a permanent "they shall know no fear" up. So I don't know. I think it's a problem. I think it's also a really easy team to like maybe get lucky with, just because
You just
your opponent doesn't know
outlast
how to.
everybody.
Yeah,
Yeah. Your opponent can't shift you. You just keep sitting on primaries. They can't take objectives off you. Yeah. I think you're right.
no, like you get in combat with them, now you're injured because of contagion.
Yep.
So you're hitting on fours probably.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
For most teams, yeah. Well, for most models, yeah.
Like they're gonna have hits. They can probably parry you. The damage that you do get through, you're not even gonna do that much damage. If you get
No.
4 damage through, you're either gonna do 2 or 3 most of the time.
Yeah.
So like you're not even getting the expect. You don't even know what to expect. I think Plague Marines are like kind of the best elite team right now. That's and like nobody is like aware of it.
Yeah. I
I
think you
think.
might be right.
Um, but I don't know. Maybe Custodies are still better than that. But I've.
I don't think so because Custodes have like obvious bad matchups.
Mhm.
Um, and Death Guard, I'm struggling to think of a bad matchup for them right now. I mean, I
I
guess
mean,
if I had to like outside the top teams,
yeah,
um, Novitiates, you said that Novitiates would probably bounce off them. But like Vet Guard,
maybe. Yeah, for sure. Vecgard
Vet
and
Guard
Pathfinder
win,
just get them blown off the
Pathfinders.
board.
How do you feel about Compendium Guard? Because they have a lot of sources of high AP, like
They could
mixing
probably give them trouble.
scions or just scion. Yeah,
Yeah, I think they could give Death Guard trouble. But like, if I'm playing like a melee horde, I just don't know what I would do against something like Death Guard. Like, I don't think I think honestly they could do well into novitiates, like you said. Like, what does novitiates have to really like take that chassis down?
it's
Um,
mostly melee, and that's not good
yeah, they've
against
got
this
like
team.
one source of plasma, so 1 AP 2. A lot of low damage attacks. That flamer is something to look out for, I guess. But yeah, I think it's interesting. I think they're a team
Definitely
to look out for.
underplayed.
Yeah, like if I'm playing
Yeah.
against Void Dancers with Death Guard, I think they can do it. Like that icon guy that I was talking about, like moving him into the middle. If you give him a filth sensor, that makes his contagion inch 3 inches or 3 or 4 inches instead of 2. So like you get into that spot, and a fusion pistol can't even shoot you without being injured.
Yeah.
So that's pretty interesting.
Yeah. The Void Dancers, they just bounce right off them.
Yeah.
They just don't have the tools to kill models. They have to play the game differently
Hmm.
just by doing movement shenanigans and trying to win on primaries, which is
Yeah.
hard to do when you got those 4 APL guys on there.
Yeah, and I mean, I think a lot of the main missions that you'll see, um, like played in tournaments right now, like out of the core book, most of them are fine for elite teams. Like in theory, like I think the only one that's a problem for elite teams is like a real problem is loot and salvage because you have to like really move up the board. And I think elite teams probably want to play safer early on.
Yeah, definitely.
Um, One mission that never gets played in tournaments that I have wondered about is consecrate ground because that's one of the few missions where it rewards you for getting to the objective first. So, like, if you go to the objective and cap it on that mission, the model that capped it gets +1 defense dice for the rest of the turn.
Yeah.
So, like, if an elite, that's in theory one of the missions that would be better for elite teams because, like, if you're playing Death Guard, you can run a guy up on that and get 4 defense dice on whichever one you cap.
Ooh,
And then you dig in, and then you get 5 defense dice. 5?
that's
So,
insane,
yeah,
actually. That is
AP2, and you still have 3
that is
rolls.
that is dumb. I'm happy this mission doesn't get played at tournaments. Because then Death Guard, this would just be a Death Guard meta.
Hey, maybe that's what we need right now. Maybe
Sure.
we need the Plague Rain meta.
Sure, why not? Another
Mix it up a little bit.
yeah.
Yeah, it's just one mission. I think that about wraps everything up.
Mhm. Yeah.
So, in closing, thank you all for joining us again. It's been a crazy month. We haven't been uploading as much, but thank you all for hanging in there and waiting. We're gonna have more stuff on the horizon. And yeah, I'm Shane here with Ryan. Thank you for listening and have a good one.